teams are just not very good at doing the current.
I think the map ban stuff, it comes down to a part that right, a lot of teams don't have dedicated coaches or analysts for them right now. So I think when that comes more into play, that's where we'll see teams really sync it up. But Hex, what are you seeing coming out here from the defense of Fnatic? Defense that was just very effective a few moments ago.
Yeah, it's the kind of combination of characters, minus the Zarya that Slasher was talking about, but it is Buds on that Reaper again. Of course, he was hiding behind the bushes, got an enormous kill early on that helped them first hold this defense. Stoop will be playing on the Reinhardt IDD QD. None other than McCree, of course. Cool, Matt, 69 on the Winston. Vonatha will play Lucio, and Custa is on the Zenyatta.
All right, meanwhile, taking a look here at the offense as they set up for the side of Cloud9. It's going to be Reaver here on the McCree, Adam on the Zenyatta, Debit on Winston, Kai on the Diva, Grego going to be on Lucio, and Surefour. I don't think this is going to be a thing. I think he's just messing around and all the rest. And this is where C9, man. Now they've completely messed up their lineup, so we're just going to go through the lineup again because this is just C9 things. Surefour, though, on the Genji. Not too unsurprising. Adam on the Zenyatta. So they'll go from there. We'll see what comes out from the C9 side. And will their first attack be successful? Because that's been the thing in Hollywood where we've seen so many first point attacks taken on the first push that defense is notable.
This is interesting, though, from IDDQD. He took the slow ride elevator up, just trying to get some shots in early on. They're going to hold pretty far back here. Only one back in the cafe is the Zenyatta, so if they want to dive, it's going to be for that single target. They do dive.
Yep, they dive right in. They get into the cafe. McCree in all sorts of trouble. Kai gonna lose his mech, though. So defense not going out just that. Cool Matt gets into the cafe, does protect his team. Moving forward here on Winston, and
so back
pretty
and forth.
Bloody right now between both sides. But usually that favors the offense a little more often than not. I think the defense will solidify, but the offense will be able to continue the stream in here and keep pressure as Buds runs right into McCree, has to back out immediately. We'll live here for now, but Reaver now in a perfect position to just keep poking people off. McCree's still really, really good as fights degenerate.
Yeah, Reaver just sniffing it out there. I mean, Buds was trying to go up top, get sneaky. He knew they were all in the stairwell. Then when he didn't see Buds poking for a moment, he knew he was going to be trying to flank him. Gets over there with the flashbang, pushes him back down the stairs, lets him continue his reign of terror, takes down the Lucio next. It's going to be a pretty quick first capture from Cloud9, but I mean, it's kind of a decent defense that they didn't get rolled over immediately.
All right, so offense right now moving forward once more. They do have positioning here on the top. And this is good here for offense. If you can get to the second rooftop like this uncontested, it makes it really hard for the defense to get back into it. Reaver almost had a free pick on the Zenyatta there for a second. They're going to knock Stoop right off in comical fashion. Zen almost going down once more. And everything going well for C9 here. Vonatha does take out Surefour, perhaps overdove, but you look at the payload, they're not actually keeping it moving as much as you think. They have someone in the back contesting. It's Buds being the hero, even as C9's being highly aggro, so buys him some time to point, but overall still very much in C9's favor. What do you think, Slasher?
I didn't want to interrupt you this whole time, but you have to invite me to the game.
Oh, all right. That makes a little bit more sense. I'm saying here, just like, all right, Slasher's being awfully quiet here. You're not being a game.
Dynamite insight from Slasher.
All right. I was just like, it sounds like a cool game. I wish I could watch it, but Transcend does come out here from the offensive Transcend Zenyatta. IDDQD, though, fighting it right back. Kai taking out Bud. So defense does come out with a little bit of aggression there. It does not quite work out. C9 able to handle it. They move back in Debit right now. Juggling Zenyatta. Takes out Custa. Oh, man. Some of the funniest kills in the game come from Rampaging Winston. Debit still throwing in some good damage as C9 keeps the momentum moving forward in their favor.
Well, they are going to bail out completely. I'll let Slasher just kind of catch up and get his bearing here as he enters in the game. But it's a really late spawn from Buds that puts him in a weird position. It looks like they were going to try to chase it down. They are being pretty aggressive here, getting in very deep. They don't end up paying for it immediately. A Surefour takes down 2 in his deep dive.
Yeah, C9, they've been known for this. They've just been really aggro after winning a fight, and it's working out as they're buying a lot of space. And you have to wait for the doors to open, though, so the payload didn't get quite as far as you might think.
The best teams right now are able to go in and get the kills without dying. And on the other side, if you're able to punish, especially with Winston being kind of big right now, and Diva in the current meta, you have to be able to speed boost out of the situation and then punish those characters. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time.
All right, so Buds comes in the Death Blossom, doesn't get a whole lot from it. Custa, though, still able to punish Reaver for the Deadeye attempt, and here comes the Dragon Blade. Surefour going to the back line, immediately tamed by Custa, so the Zenyatta play really coming in here. Good last minute and a half here for Custa, keeping Fnatic in this and keeping Cloud9 at bay.
Yeah, sorry to say it, Slasher, but Custa's Zenyatta has been probably the biggest standout for me tonight on Zenyatta. He's just been getting able to, even on King of the Hill, he's been racking up kills solo, left and right. It's been really kind of just daring the other team to dive him as he's been punishing flankers all night. His aim has been phenomenal. And he didn't fall down a hole.
Wow, too soon, man, too soon. The deadpan delivery. Well, either way, defense is going to be more aggro. Kumet jumping into the back. Does have Primal Rage up the right in case things go bad. Right now, just chilling out in the Transcendence. Going to heal up most of the poke. Custa, again, first kill of the fight, taking out Kai. And C9, they still can win this. They still have options here in this fight. Surefour is about to have a Dragon Blade, so it's been back and forth. 5v6. Surefour, though, going to have to do something sooner rather than later if he wants to turn this in C9's favor. As defense, mostly on the payload, a few people on the flank. Soundbearer, though, comes out, and here comes Surefour moving up the Soundbearer. Can get met right away, though, by the Earth Shadow. Stoop takes him out, and he was just saving that for Surefour the entire time, and 2 kills for Fnatic. Gonna be a good hold.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big win for Fnatic. They made Cloud9 burn 2 ults there. They won the team fight cleanly. They gained more ult advantage because they were able to win that team fight. Now they have Soundbearer. They should be able to hold for, you know, a good few more minutes now. And Cloud9 is going to have to win something without much help of any else.
Yeah, Snoop just flipped the breaker on that team. They were powering up. They had everything going. The Dragon Blade came out. They were going to high noon as well, and then he just threw the hammer down, completely single-handedly shut down that push attempt.
Yeah, and C9 without any ults, not getting a whole lot of luck here. Transcendence comes in from the defense. Bud's still holding on to his Death Blossom. Only 1 kill, though, from the defense here. They should back up a little bit. They can't be super over aggro, so they trade out Transcendence for a temporary delay and 1 kill.
So one
situation not looking greater for C9, though.
I do want to say one thing to note while I've been playing. When you use Transcendence, because there's no longer a Genji on the other team, which is mainly when you use it, it's more for pushing in on these fights.
Yeah, so Buds right now drops it over the top, gets 4 kills from that Death Blossom, shuts it all down. That's going to be a full wipe here for Fnatic, and Fnatic was getting bullied to start out this game, but man, have they solidified here on last.
It seems to me like a general trend is that it's been really hard for a lot of teams to hold second a lot, but we've seen mounted defenses at this very last point, not necessarily in the hallways, but just outside of these final doors have been where defenses have really been able to hold their own.
Oh, IDDQD right now camping up here at the top, having no fear. Fan the hammer coming back. Of course, faster attacks beyond that, and the Bud just diving deep in the back, cleaning up the last remaining people after they got those first few picks. And now this is dangerous here for C9. At least they do have ultimates coming up online, but they're going to have to make something happen next fight, or it could be all over, especially if they burn those ults.
Yeah, Cloud9 was backing up to try to get as many ults as possible. The issue is they might have lost too many team fights and made the ult advantage too even here, that it's not going to be enough to be able to push the card all the way to the finish, even if they're able to use a few of them.
I think even if they get it now, Fnatic has to be thrilled how the last 5 minutes of this map has gone. I mean, it's already a 7.5 minute time set, so it's already a decent Hollywood defense.
Well, Surefour right now does roll to backline, does not go for the Death Blossom, didn't like what we're seeing. Transcendence comes out here from Adam, but IDDQD on the Deadeye still picks off a kill on the debit. So 5v5 right now, but IDDQD gets another kill. Graviton comes in from Kai, but it's late. It's going to get completely nullified by the Transcendence. And I don't know, this just feels discoordinated right now from C9. Soundbearer comes in later in the fight. Surefour was not alive to even take advantage of it. I'm not quite sure what's going on right now, but Fnatic, they're very close to full holding this, especially if Buds can come in. Here comes Buds on the Death Blossom, comes in over the top, a 3K, now 4 for Buds, and he punishes C9 for what was a really strange team fight.
What Fnatic did there was as bad as you can get. They made Cloud9 use speed boost, try to have a fight. They put Surefour out on top to try to bait in Fnatic to go to Karn, so then he could Death Blossom on top of him. That didn't work. They lost the initial team fight. They baited out all the ults, and now they have ult advantage going into the last team fight.
Yep, they have sound, and the key thing here, Slasher, is that they have sound barrier. The defense can just sound barrier and W mouse 1 into the offense, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They don't have to worry about the other sound barrier coming in. Unfortunately, they don't get any kills off it, so now they need to be careful not to over aggro, and I think they might have just done that. I mean, they had the advantage, but they maybe used it too early. IDDQD, though, does get a little bit of solidifying there. Takes out Surefour. Both teams are going to be down Reapers. Stoop drops the Earthshatter, knocks down 3. And Fnatic perhaps not going to pay too much. Graviton does come in, hooks in 3 people. Kai trying to be the hero here. Cool Matt, though, will stay alive. Shooting people. The Bunny Blaster takes out Reaver even. Oh, man, is he going to get the triple kill Bunny Blaster? Is this happening? Cool Matt being relentless with that. About to have his mech right back up.
Well, desperation time comes in, but they're going to be met with a Bastion. That is Bud switching at the last second to try to close out this map. He's tired of the scrappy 3v4 that's been happening here. Custa comes in with his late Transcend, is going to be able to keep Cool Matt alive, at least momentarily. Well-timed Death Blossom from Surefour cleans up IDDQ and Custa. They should be able to push this towards the end there. He waited at the last second for that Transcend to fade and just burned through everyone.
Man. A little bit of a throw towards the end there, I feel like, by Fnatic. I get they were going to be cute with the Bastion. I kind of would prefer Bud just staying on the Reaper. I don't know.
Well, Reinhardt, they pushed in too far to spawn, and it probably wasn't the incorrect call to be too aggressive there. I know they probably wanted to end it right then and there, and they had the ult advantages, and they had speed boost. But in the end, Cloud9 did clutch it out, and Surefour got a huge Death Blossom at the end, which is what they really needed to solidify the win.
Yeah, it was super patient on that too, because he was just walking through that Transcend, waiting for it to fade, hit it really nice there, picked up that 3, as you mentioned. But I mean, still, that's a time of 10:01 on a Hollywood defense, which has been a rarity lately. So, you know, you mention this all the time, ZP, when a team gets kind of put in a bad position like that, you know, they might just I don't know, maybe try to hold first would be Cloud9's best option here, because I feel like if they don't hold first, they're going to have a hard time trying to, you know, make sure that time stands on offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm sure Fnatic would have loved to have had the full hold there and then just play the distance game rather than worrying about the stopwatch. But make no mistake, this is still a grim situation for Cloud9, because they're going to have to go for a full hold on point A, or at least burn off 3 to 4 minutes to give themselves a fighting chance here. If they lose point A in the first attack, the odds that they actually hold to last and don't have their time just get shattered by Fnatic, very low.
Well, a lot hanging on that point A defense is going to be Kai on this Symmetra. He's been one of the few people in North America to run it. One of the few people in all of Overwatch post-patch to be running Symmetra consistently. Debit will play the Reinhardt. Grego on Lucio. Reaver is going to be on Junkrat. Surefour will run the McCree, and Adam is going to play Zenyatta. So the traditional Cloud9 defense here, a lot is depending on Kai getting that teleporter up.
I mean, I really do like the triple support setup that we've seen on Hollywood a little bit lately, and Dorado with Symmetra coming back. It's very good for beating offensive divas and Genjis, even though Fnatic's not running either of those. And I wonder if they're probably not expecting Buds to be on Widow here, and he's going to try to get a pick probably when they're not thinking about it.
I wouldn't expect a Widow right now, given the meta. He does get a shot on Lucio, does not get the headshot he's looking for. And of course, that's the thing with Widow right now. With changes that have come in the last month or so, you do have to get headshots. Body shots not quite as effective. And man, McCree right now just chasing down Buds. Bud's not having any of it. Will stay alive. It's a more unique offense, though, coming out from Fnatic here, to be sure. I just wonder if it plays in the C9's hands a little bit. C9, they're willing to just bend here. They won't break, and Kai just desperately hoping to get a teleporter up sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I don't really love Buds on the Widow here. I think especially after the first kind of shot missed and he wasn't getting the value. If he stays on it much longer, if he dies and comes back up on it, he'll be stunned. They got a little too cute at the end last time with him on that Bastion. Never mind, though. He takes out Kai before Kai can get a teleporter down.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's now 65 here in favor of Fnatic. They're keeping moving forward. And more than anything else, Buds is also controlling sight lines. They're not really going out here, which means they're conceding even more ground to this offense. Earthshower comes in here from... Actually, I don't think there's a Soup just swinging the hammer, and... well, things working out for the offense right now. It's slow, but they're pushing out C9, and they will be getting a pretty quick cap here on point A.
Teleporter does come down in desperation from Kai. They're all going to flood through here, so they're not ready to give this up just yet. Custa's forced to pop the Transcend to keep people alive.
There, the Earthshadows coming out. Both Reinhardt's dropping the hammer, but Stoop coming out just a little bit ahead right there. Goes for the charge in the end. Reaver gonna get taken out, and this last-ditch effort from C9, even coming from the teleporter, not going to be enough as Stoop and Budge just cleaning everyone up.
Budge with 4 kills in the last 15 seconds. Maybe less than 15 seconds.
I mean, that was about as slow of a start as you can get. There was no depth for the first minute of the team fight, but I actually like that coming out of Fnatic, because they know that Cloud9 is going to be running the Symmetra on defense. You don't want to get in close quarters with either D.Va and the Reaper, even though he could shift out, and playing Widow and offensive Junkrat just to keep distance and do as much damage as possible. It worked out in the end, even if Cloud9 was able to get teleporter up at the very end.
Bud's right now still in the Widow, still looking for picks. Coolmac going in here on the Reinhardt. It's a very pick-heavy offense, really, between hooks and Widow snipes. A lot of ways of taking out single people. C9, though, not being deterred. They move in here with the Sound Bearer. Reaper well into the back line, just tearing apart Stoop from the back. C9 getting the kills they need here, and they should be forcing an offensive reset here in just a moment.
Yeah, Stoop actually did have to bust out his Earth Shatter as well. Got nothing out of it. Him and Lucio on the cart were just easy pickings for Reaver's Reaper in the backline. Cool Matt on this Roadhog, which is the first time we've seen the Street Pig tonight. What is it? What is this directly in response to, do you think?
The Roadhog, I don't know, I'm not even sure it's in response to anything. I think they just think that Roadhog is still useful here. I mean, he's still really good. People don't pick him as much because of the Zen, but Reaver right now does go to the backline. Custa, oh man, he stays alive. Stoop with the cleanup in the last moment. Well baited. And that's gonna be 4 kills coming out right now from Fnatic. Oh my goodness. Reaver thought he was getting a good pick, and instead, he got picked in turn.
See, Hex, what I think is that Roadhog hook is still broken, okay? Just because all these things got a whole lot better, including Zen didn't make Roadhog any less broken than it was before. So we can still insta-kill half the team.
Coolman right now leading the way on the whole hog, pushing people back. Not getting any kills off that, but might not even need to. And home, what is that hook? What was that? It went, Roadhog in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter, though. Sure4 gets a double kill on the IDD QD and Coolmat. Over the top, gonna take out Stoop. Please tell me that one of you two saw that hook.
I'm always the third person. Yeah.
I think the main issue is Hex and ZP is that even though Roadhog is still broken, as we've seen, you get more money for D.Va because the defense matrix is still probably even more broken than the hook. And the ult, surprisingly, kills you all the time. We tried really hard to get out of it, and you could try really hard to get out of it. Transcendence won't save you. You're just gonna die, and it could blow up in the middle of the air. And D.Va just has a better kit and all-around better use right now than Roadhog.
Yeah, Roadhog used to be a pretty solid counter to a Winston too, but I again agree with you that why wouldn't you just run a D.Va instead of a Roadhog if you're trying to deal with a Winston? She also wins that 1v1, and yeah, especially since Zens are so in the meta right now, and Zens can't run away from D.Va ults as we saw all night tonight, then yeah, you definitely have a good point that he's fine, it's just D.Va's a little better at everything he does.
Well, Buds right now, while you guys are doing the analysis, was able to go in and get the triple kill. It started off from a hook from Coolmac. Coolmac got the hook onto Sure4, took him out, and that's the thing about it, is that even though McCree does really, really good damage, there's points where you have to respect Roadhog, because while he has hookup, he's one of the bigger threats in actually taking out, especially now McCree has to go more into mid-range with the recent patch changes.
Well, 4.5 minutes left to finish this off, and it's fitting we have Slasher here, because he's always promoted the idea of just wait for everyone to have ult, everyone hit Q, you'll probably win the fight, you only need to win one fight here.
Snap on offense, this last point. We're like, we gotta get it all together.
So plenty of time here still for Fnatic. They have over 4 minutes left. They can take their time to some extent. Bud's right now just creeping on the top, hoping that C9 gets a little bit aggressive with their defense. This Death Blossom might be just answered by a Transcendence, so it's not necessarily the best situation. Oh, but that is, he gets into the back line. The Transcendence stops it. There was a brief moment there where Zen wasn't there off the Earth Shatter, but by the time he dropped down, Zen did get there, and it stopped Buds from really cleaning up. It was a good set by Stoop. Doesn't matter though, as Fnatic is still piling on. They still have C9 outmaneuvered. They get 4 kills. They move to the back. 5 kills now for Fnatic, and they are going to take this map decisively over C9 with about 3.5 minutes remaining by the time they get the cap.
Yep, that defense was just way too strong. Set themselves up with a pretty easy time to beat on Hollywood 1, and that is you know, maybe a surprise to some people, but Fnatic taking the first map off of Cloud9.
I mean, it really isn't to me. just from playing both of them on the exact same maps for tonight, Fnatic seem to have a little bit better teamwork just together, especially using Reaper right now. And Reaper still, even though McCree is kind of the hot new thing to talk about, and Zen, Reaper still might be one of the best characters in the game if you don't have a Genji that can go off and kill everything. And even Surefour went off of Genji to play Reaper of his own. And if you can't get the Reaper working with Lucio to make sure you get the most effect out of your Death Blossoms and do the most damage possible, it's really tough, especially with a lot of teams running these Winstons and running Divas and double tanks. Reaper fits in very well for this meta to do damage if you're able to.
All right, so we are going to wait for Vanathil to get back. What is going on with this night and people having to leave between every single map? I think that it's going to be Lijiang. Yeah, our admin with a pretty solid joke. This is why teams shouldn't get energy drink sponsors. Because after every map, someone has to use the bathroom. I think the next map is going to be Lijiang, though. I believe that's why it is already set to that.
Yes. Next map will be Lijiang, and I mean, at this point, it's just a running meme in Overwatch of players going to the bathroom, especially when Envy is playing. Envy takes it to another level, like many other things in Overwatch. I don't know.
So the key thing for this map is that Surefour is going to be on Genji, and from what I experienced, Buds is going to be on Tracer. My initial guess coming out of the gate was that Buds is going to be on Reaper, and that's kind of how we set things out. So we didn't run Winston on the first round that we played. But I'm pretty sure Bud's going to play Tracer. He was pretty effective at just being annoying enough on me as Zen to have to split us up and not be able to team fight the best way. So the difference is on the main DPS players, that Surefour more than likely will continue to be on Genji and try to make that work. Him and Debit and the synergy that they have on going in on the opposite Zen is seriously sick, and it was one of the biggest problems that we had in our games, that they would always one flank us on whichever side we didn't speed boost into, and both of them would make sure that they have the bubble together and the Zarya shield behind them to be able to go and kill the Zen. So I think those are kind of the keys we're going to have to look at for here.
Yeah, they started by doing that to you tonight, like really early on this particular map. You got double teamed pretty brutally by that Winston and Genji too. That's definitely something that they were used to doing. Buds also, I mean, beyond just being annoying, he pulled a 4K on this map not too long ago to really save his team in a clutch situation. So beyond just like I'm here and constantly annoying Tracer, he's also murdering folks. So you're absolutely right. That is the biggest difference in the compositions right now, is that DPS play from the second DPS. Other than that, is a pure mirror match. I'm glad to see that Kai has been back on Zarya. I think yesterday he played a little too much Diva. I think he's a little better on the Zarya personally, but yeah, as you said, Bud's on the Tracer, Reaver Surefour on the Genji, the only difference between these two teams.
Well, take a look at the full C9 roster. It is going to be Kai on the Zarya, as we were just talking about, Grego on the Lucio, Surefour on the Genji, Adam on Zenyatta, Reaver going to be on McCree, Debit on the Winston, and Hex, we have a mirror matchup on the other side.
And I think the main important thing that we have to watch here is his Winstons and the bubbles and how they're used and getting on that opposite against Zenyatta.
Oh, Kumak gonna lead the way. He does get the Zarya shield in the very beginning. Ends up getting poked down pretty heavily. Has to back out. Both teams lose their Winstons, so Winston's ending up in a wash here. Both teams still very even, but look at Adam. Adam doing the Zenyatta DPS right now. Takes out Vonthil. IDD QD fighting right back. Very close right now between both teams. Surefour looking for some heroics in the back. On the Stoop. Stoop eats the Discord Orb. He's going to go down. And Surefour now starting to turn this more in C9's favor, as they will get first cap.
You shouldn't be surprised if more and more team fights start out like this in this current meta between the top teams, where both the Winstons die at the same time.
It's a rough time to be a scientist, monkey, and scholar, but Bud's right now fighting right back. Does get 2 kills to start out. Kai treats him to a fully charged up Zarya right click. Doesn't have a whole lot of health right now. Stoop gets in on him. He's going to get punched in the face in the end, and that's going to be Fnatic retaking this point, so I think we can expect this going on for the rest of the round. Just very close between these two teams. Now, Surefour, though, does have Dragon Blade out there ready for the next fight.
We've seen teams hold in different spots once they actually have control of the point. Now, what is the difference on why teams hold in different areas?
Well, at least we wanted to be really aggressive when we had Genji, and maybe after this Transcendence, Cloud9 coming in huge, you're gonna try to they need kills here with the Transcendence.
They're not getting them though. The Transcendence from Custa completely on point, but it's not enough. The Graviton keeps them grouped up. Surefour had one more slash left, and that is all he needed to finish off that team fight. Really good team play coming out there from C9.
So probably that's a great example, and that Fnatic lost that probably because they were on the point and they didn't push aggressive. And in the meta right now, you just want to be in front of the spawn, and we got tentative in our games, and we went back to point, and we weren't holding where you should be, and it really is kind of a confidence thing and an aggressive thing, and it is to try to kill the Winston, who's always going to have a Zarya bubble on him, who jumps in.
All right, well, offensive sound bearers out here from Fnatic. They move in. They take out Debit to start things out. Surefour, though, doing work into the back line. Takes out Vonathil. His friends are dying all around him, though. He's quickly fighting himself outnumbered. Still has Dragon Blade at the ready. And he's going to save it as IDDQD just shoots him in the head. Fnatic in good position here to bully C9 off this point and retake it.
Yeah, they're going to flip it. It's going to be interesting to see where they hold with this Graviton up to. I think it's one of the tools that will allow you to hold this very confidently outside of the spawn here next time they come through. We've seen Envy do it. Yeah, they're going to wait for them to try to come through. Conversely, I think that Cloud9 knows this. They're waiting, and it looks like McCree is hiding in a different angle here. He's going to one-on-one with the Winston over there. So kind of brawly before they even enter the courtyard.
Graviton Surge coming out here from Fnatic, but Surefour does not care. Moves into the back line, slicing and dicing, not able to take out IDDQD right away. Actually, I think Winston didn't do many favors there. That was sort of bumping him out of the sword. Reaver, though, still got 2 kills as a fight set up. Grego takes out Stoop, and this is going to be a recap from C9, even with the kind of uncharacteristic discoordination between Surefour and Debit there.
The meta right now is an all-out brawl every single fight. There's always a speed boost out, especially on this map where there's only so many different places you can go. Everyone gets together, and everyone goes right, everyone goes left. The 2 Muggies jump in, the Zarya goes in, the Winston goes, everyone fights each other, Zen's die, the Winstons die, and whatever's left over have a skirmish.
Well, Bud's right now trying to not be in that formula, is going for the flanking Tracer, off for Adventure, throws out the Pulse Bomb, only finds Death. There's going to be 3 kills here from C9, and probably not what Bud's was looking for, but this is going to be rough here for Fnatic now, because Fnatic, they're not going to have enough time to fully respawn as 6 and contest this point now.
No, they're going to have a tough time even getting in here to touch it. So they're going to hold up right outside this gate, cutting off the quickest path there. That's it. Graviton out. That locks it down.
Bud's just like, maybe can I blink through? Maybe. Graviton sliced down, dead. So first round here going to go to C9.
And from the experience, the more that I watch and play, the first team fight really does mean so much, especially on King of the Hill, and even with the changed overtime rules and the, how the way that the point switches over, you get at least 20 to 30 seconds, and you generally get ult advantage and positioning for the next fight. And it's so huge on these maps where there's only so many places you can come out from, and it's only a mistake if you lose that second team fight after you won the first one, because by the time the third fight happens, usually you have an ult advantage fight. But it really comes down to communication between these teams.
Alrighty, so we are entering the Sanctum phase here. It does mean that Cool Matt is going to be out here on that Reaper. Reaver on a Reaper in turn.
And no
McCree coming out from C9. McCree coming out here from Fnatic. And I will say that even as McCree might be going in and out of the meta, IDDQD ran McCree when he was weaker. Don't think he's going to stop now that he's stronger. Matt, though, takes out Debit early on this fight. So 1 Winston down, 1 Winston still surviving. So I'm going to say that IDDQD right now just staying on the point. Stoop takes out Kai, and things are looking pretty good right now for Fnatic.
Yeah, with the 1 Winston down, no Winston surviving, because they're not running one for Fnatic. They're running triple DPS instead. Yeah. Only the Zarya on tank here, a couple supports as well. So they're going all in on the damage here. It won them that first fight, that crucial first fight, as Slasher mentioned. Now, the fact that they don't have a Winston means they're going to probably they could get forced out of position, get bullied out of position because of that hero. But right now, they're going to be content to take their 25%. Look at this rotation.
Yeah, the rotation's coming out. They're trying to be a little bit sneaky right now. Buds, though, coming right in, going for the stick. Does not get anything off that Pulse Bomb. Thankfully, it does charge up pretty quickly. Custa, though, died pretty early, and losing his Zen early is rough. You lose your Discords, you lose your Harmony. Reaver gets into the backline, takes out Cool Matt. That's going to be 4 kills coming out here. Now 5 from the side of C9, and they're going to retake this right back.
I mean, that worked exactly because of positioning, and that was a pretty great flank. I mean, to be able to take down Kusta's very beginning was why they were able to take that team fight all together. I mean, really, for Cloud9, they have space. Adam has space because there is no Winston on Fnatic.
Cheerful right now, moving to the back, looking for one slice off, does take out Custa, gets taken out in turn, 5v5 right now between both teams. Still C9 being awfully aggressive here. Reaver holding on to Death Blossom, goes in on the people that are Graviton. Might not have even needed it. Kai already killed 2 before the Death Blossom came in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small nitpicky blunder, though. A little resource management was kind of the error there. They probably should have been able to follow that up just with Debit jumping in as he landed right on them and then had the cleave. So Death Blossom not going to be up for the next fight. They probably could have saved it. There also Primal Rage came out there towards the end. I think it was to Debit to save his life. So definitely had to use 3 ults there when probably 1 would have sufficed.
Well, Graviton does come in here for Stoop, pulls 2 members of C9 in it. Sound Barrier only protecting them so much. Fnatic getting 2 quick kills off of that to start things off. IDDQD goes right in, takes out Reaver. Really good showing right now from the side of Fnatic. They retake this right back. Very even here, though, thus far.
This is a bit of a mistake here from Cloud9. They bled a lot of deaths. They were being staggered. They ended up using Sound Barrier, which didn't help them. And now Vonethil will have the advantage, even though they're pretty far off. Still, nice retake from Fnatic.
I thought this is what we're going to see, too, if they had a little bit of space. IDDQD is going to go to the top. He's been hanging out up here as McCree, just playing sniper, trying to get it set up a good Deadeye, too. So he loves this positioning. They had some time for him to take it. He's going to be up here now just poking away.
Oh. They come from underneath, but look at IDDQD over the top, channeling the Deadeye, takes out Debit immediately. Would have gotten more, except for the fact that Coolhat went absolutely crazy in the back, used the Death Blossom, took out 2. And that's going to be Fnatic holding on, and now this is dangerous for C9. They're really heavily going to be dependent on Cheerfor. It's the only ultimate they have up as a respawn. They need to take this next fight or they will lose this round, and we're going to be tied 1-1.
Custa's going to be trying to get his Transcendence up to save him from this next fight. Not up yet.
Cheerful right now going to the backline, looking for Vonethil. Vonethil desperately trying to give him the slip. Unfortunately, he got the reset, got right in there, got the double kill. 3 kills here from C9, and Cheerfor might have just opened up the way. Reaver taking out the Zarya in the Graviton, and just like that, C9 able to take this back. And now for Fnatic, they only have 2 pushes left themselves, so it's not like this is won by any stretch of the imagination.
Pretty weak Graviton coming there late from Stoop. It seems like he might not be as comfortable as some of these other tanks flexing onto Zarya. I think he's mostly comfortable on Reinhardt, but he hasn't looked great with a lot of his ultimate play from Zarya tonight.
That's the fine line, not having Transcendence up.
Reaver goes right into the back line with the Death Blossom, takes out 2 with the help of Cheerfor and Debit there. And that's just going to be a quick team fight. They're actually lucky Reaver didn't save more Death Blossom charge off of that. He got stunned pretty early, and sometimes it can backfire. Either way, though, now things are rough for Fnatic because Fnatic, they have to throw everything onto the cart. They're not going to have great positioning. They just need to get things settled into overtime. So they're moving right in from the main stairs. Soundbearer, though, comes out here from Fnatic, throwing all their remaining cards here onto it. Custa dies early to Cheerfor. They're going to have to do it without Zenyatta. And Cheerfor right now on a rampage, takes out 3, hasn't even brought out his sword. Sword comes in towards the latter part of this fight, and that's going to be it. C9 takes, or will take this round. 1 more round to go until they even up the series 1-1.
Genji's really good on this point. And in general on this map, Genji is pretty effective, and I still think I like it. I like the comp a little bit better than what Fnatic is doing right now. Winston's still able to open up so much space for you, and which is super important in this game mode.
Well, you mentioned Genji on that map, and I totally agree with you. I think it's We United's best stage on this map because of Shadowburn's Genji play on there. I think once he gets out in the open, and you see those little ledges all over the place, and he wall climbs almost more than any Genji I've ever seen. So he's all over the place in the middle, and it's usually the stage that he cleans up on the most.
Well, interesting stuff. Looking at the Fnatic side, they're still not coming out with Winston. C9 holding on to their Winston dreams. I thought for sure they would have brought the Winston back out here.
I mean, you need it for the Genji, you need it for the Zen, and it's even good against McCree too. Not sure if it's going to work out for Fnatic.
Well, we will see Cheerfor right now leaping to the middle. Fnatic coming in turn. Oh my goodness, almost taking out Custa from long range. He took so much poke, and he's still looking for it. Forces out the Zarya shield. Definitely a positioning advantage here from C9 as they move in, and no small part to Cheerfor as Grego boop stoop off the ledge. This fight is degenerating in a hurry for Fnatic. 3 kills to C9, and they're going to get first control.
I mean, that's kind of what happens. Like, it's whoever can get into mid first and maybe control the right side house. And if you can do that, then you have line of sight based on Zen, and you can make things happen. Otherwise, you have to do the flank where Fnatic's going in now, and it's just so hard to engage from there onto the point.
KaiKai's right-click on Zarya is just phenomenal. Just hitting mortar shots across the map, charging up his ult so quickly.
Well, Zenyatta got picked really early on here for C9. It's going to be a hole that they need to dig themselves out of. But Surefour does have a shovel, does have a sword, however, has a double kill in the back. Might not even need to bring out the Dragon Blade right now, just looking for Custa. He has nowhere to go, off on an island by himself. And even despite the early pick, C9 able to dig themselves out. They hold on to a point, 40% now to 0.
Come on, KaiKai, hit the wall, Graviton. Use the wall, Graviton.
And Coolmat's going into Winston, which I think is what was needed for this matchup.
Yeah, but you gotta think KaiKai's looking for the wall. Graviton doesn't even get it, but gets the 5-person Graviton set. That's a good substitute. Surefour moving in, and Reaver is the one to get the fall through. The 4-person Deadeye.
Finishes it up, 5K for Reaver right there.
Well, only good news for Fnatic is that Surefour and Reaver both use their ult, so Fnatic has a little bit of a shot here to make something happen. I mean, Adam has Transcendence, which is going to be really painful for Fnatic, but they only have one more chance, and Buds goes down, they're going to have to wait.
Yeah, that pick on Buds actually could be the difference maker here. Now, instead of having a decent amount of time to set up, they have to back out. It's going to let them get poked even further to the back, and then once Buds is back, they have to be really aggressive at trying to go back in on this because they don't have time to spare. So Buds is back, he's going the flank, everyone else is going the bridge. This is risky. A lot is relying on Buds being able to land a stick here and Zarya not nullifying it. So he is a distraction. The rest of the team going to be coming in with him. Here comes a Graviton Surge from Stoop. Not a whole lot coming out from that. Debit right now just gets to the back line, takes out 2. Buds still trying to work it back though. 2 kills come in from Fnatic. And no, they're not able to get in overtime and keep it in overtime. And that's going to be C9 taking Lijiang. We are evened up now 1-1.
Well, you guessed it, going to 4, maybe even 5, so it's looking that way right now. It's at least going 4, so play the match from Surefour. This has to be oh, never mind. It's earlier in the map.
You know, I'm not really impressed by Surefour just because, forget the play the game, which is great, but the play the game intro, he's not throwing gold shurikens at you. He's no Shadowburn.
The poverty Genji is real.
So I think the theme from this is that when you don't have Winston, especially to punish not just a Zen, but a Genji like Surefour, or for example, like a Shadowburn, it's just so tough. And they were able to win the first team fight just because they had more DPS on the side of Fnatic. But if they had lost the point, just like they had in the second team fight by getting out of position, then it becomes much more difficult to take it back. They can't create space with the Winston. They can't create space to open up the sight lines for their Zen because Cloud9 has a Winston. It's always going to be a pain. And they can't have the Winston Zarya combo, which, as I've been mentioning, is like almost the most important thing, really, to me. In all these King of Hills that we're going to watch from now on, it is really who has the better combo of the Zen, Winston, Zarya, and who can kill the other Winston usually first is going to win the team fight. And they both die at the same time. You have this weird 5-on-5 of kind of like circling around each other. Who's going to get the next pick to initiate, like mainly with speed boost to go in? Because both teams then, after the Winstons die, are tentative on what the next object is going to be. Because I think on these King of the Hill maps, there really only is one route to take. I mean, maybe traditionally we'll see some things to be different, but everyone's going main into the middle of the map for like all of them and to fight in a big brawl, right? No one's going onto the point to try to hold there just because you don't have line of sight with McCree, you don't have line of sight with Zenyatta. So that's why you have these like gigantic brawls in the middle of King of the Hill with bubbles everywhere and people shooting everything. And really whoever will get the first pick, which is generally going to be the Winston, is going to win the team fight.
It's interesting to see that how that meta has been shifting out, and of course it wasn't always the case where Zarya's shield would remove Zen Orb. That was a change that came in not really recently, but it is interesting now that people have said, okay, Zen's in the meta. We are going to take Zarya not only for just general shielding, but also because it will remove Orb mid-fight, which is a big deal. Either way, though, right now we are waiting for Reaver. For those who have not picked up on chat, Reaver does not have an SSD. He needs to restart once again. long time to wait here. So sorry about that, guys. It is out of our hands. Hopefully Reaver will be back sometime in 2017.
I just imagine him like starting his computer like an old-timey car now, like cranking it up and just waiting for it to turn over.
So we saw a little bit of Ana. We played against Ana. I think Ono used it against us. And the new charge rate is actually insanity. I think we probably will be seeing it soon on payload maps. Teams are going to be able to experiment, but her shooting rate now and the amount of times that she gets ult is kind of ridiculous. It's just that, I mean, look, for everyone who's watching out there, you see Zen and Lucia right now because still, no matter what anyone does in this game, speed boost is the best ability in the game, and speed and movement is still the most important thing overall in Overwatch. If you want to go in any one main aspect of all the games that are kind of chaotic to watch out, in competitive Overwatch, is that if you have better movement, most of the time you will win the team fight because you can put the pressure on or take the pressure off or make the engagement or disengagement and kind of control the will of the other team. We had seen a lot of like single support Mercy comps in the past few months, but because Rez is still 30% shorter and with Zen being just so incredible, that's really not an option anymore. That's why you're seeing Zen and Lucio so much. Ana being able to come in is very risky right now because it may or may not work. Now, the recent buff is kind of nutty. My gut tells me we might actually. Probably not tonight. I don't think so tonight, but I wouldn't be totally surprised.
Yeah. Well, the Ana buff, my first reaction to going is forget her healing, which clearly is going to be a lot better. But it's more just like, oh my goodness, the damage that you're going to be able to do with Ana off of that is ridiculous. I mean, once people get comfortable on her, the fire rate, you might not think 20% is that much, but given all the other forms of powerful healing in this game, your Harmony orbs, your Lucio heals, and all the rest, 20% more damage is very often the difference between life and death. So there's going to be plenty of times where Ana will just two-shot pop someone that's already damaged a little bit and take them out, on top of really having just crazy burst healing potential as well. So I don't know what to think about this far. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe we're just overselling it, but just spending a little bit of time in training mode right before the cast, it felt very powerful.
Now, you play a lot of Ana, and you mentioned her charge on her ultimates. I'm kind of the opinion, and maybe I'm wrong just because I am privileged in watching Shadowburn, that ulting a Genji during his ult from Ana seems like overkill. What do you think is the ideal use of her ultimate in the current meta right now?
It does seem like overkill. I think it works perfectly with Reaper, especially with Zarya bubbles and extra healing with Zen and all these other things, and speed boost. Reaper just goes and kills the whole, just normally. You don't have to do anything. Put it on a Reaper, speed boost in, and Reaper will go kill everything. Also, Reinhardt is extremely good, and even Winston right now can kill stuff because Ana ult's just a little ridiculous. Now, I've thought about how you get away from it, but it charges so quickly now that it's like the old Mercy ultimate time, and it's a little too much. Blizzard's got to look at it this way, because you shouldn't have to be able to burn like a Zen ult to counter Ana ult. That's just dumb. One, you'll lose out on the speed, and you'll never be able to win the team fights if you have to do that. So it's really hard if teams can be able to make it work. I think it does require Lucio, because that's going to be on the opposite team and on your team. One, if you're playing against Ana, you kind of need a speed boost either out of the situation really quickly, or you have to engage immediately, take on the Ana ult, and like try to kill it as quickly as possible. And if you're running Ana, you need to be able to have speed boost to get the team, even if they're trying to disengage from you. What's so funny?
We're just looking at Reaver here. Reaver has finally rejoined the lobby. It's taken forever.
Just memeing in lobby chat. It made me
laugh. Okay. I was. I mean, that is the world's longest reboot.
Yeah.
But I know your points on are definitely well received. I'm just curious to see if the current buff is going to be enough to actually push her through and see things like Nano Boost come into play more often. Because right now it just feels like Nano Boost is a great ultimate and all the rest, but you're not really going to see it all that often. For Kid is so weak that people don't want to run her for times when the ult is not up. But either way, both teams are ready. Watchpoint Gibraltar will be our next map in the series. 1-1, effectively a best out of 3 now. Some great play coming out of both Fnatic and C9, and we'll see if C9 is able to turn this into favor. There was one point where this was C9's strongest map in many people's view.
I I believe these two played yesterday, and Fnatic actually won off the back of a Buds going Widow, which was unexpected, and killed the entire team of Cloud9 at the first point after they looked like they were going to full hold, and then somehow was able to get like 20 more kills throughout the map, and I think totally took Cloud9 by surprise. Not sure if that'll happen again. I think maybe they'll be a little bit more ready in case that comes. And Reaver will be like immediately on the counter Widow if such a thing were to happen.
Well, it was desperation from Buds coming out because they could not crack this server room defense. They tried and tried and tried, and then they had like a minute left, maybe at most. Then Buds came up and just found an angle over the top here to crack this through the server room defense. They got a couple kills. They were able to move the cart past it, so they didn't have to really contest with the server room. But Cloud9's really the only team that's been trying to defend this server room with any sort of actual force for a while now. And they did it really well yesterday. I'd be interested to see if they run it again.
Alrighty, so we are getting right back into it. Reaver has returned. The long reboot process is finished. We are here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. It is going to be for the defense coming out here from Fnatic. Stoop will be on the Reinhardt, Buds on the Reaper, Coolmat on the Winston, Custa gonna be on the Zenyatta, IDDQD on McCree, and Vonethil rounding things out here on the Lucio.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see pretty much any of these heroes coming out from the offense of Cloud9. I would love to see a Hanzo. I would love to see a Pharah, but actually, who is that bird-looking woman? I haven't seen her in a bit. So Adam is going to be on the Zenyatta, very likely. Kai will probably stay on the D.Va here. She's always been good on Gibraltar, but now she's good on everything, so no reason not to run her on Gibraltar. He's going to be rolling with Debit on Winston. Reaver will be playing the Reaper. Grego on Lucio. Reaver is going to be playing the McCree, Nevermind, and Short4 will play Genji.
I do think this helps Fnatic a little bit. Coolmat is very experienced using Winston on defense, which is as good as it gets against Short4's Genji. I think that's going to be a huge matchup. Fnatic wants to win these payloads.
Alrighty. So, offense right now starting to move in for C9. Of course, teams give up the first point here on Gibraltar. It's just not worth it to try and defend that, lose, and not get the great defensive positioning that you can get from the server room and the high ground. C9 right now, you take a look at how they're approaching it. They have some on the payload, Sheer4 and Reaver over the top, but Coolmat gonna put a kibosh to that on the top, runs right in the Reaver, punches in the face, gets taken up by Sheer4 though, so 1-for-1 trade. C9 now starting to invade the server room. Lucio on the run, he's gonna get taken out, and C9 splitting things up, really working out for them there. Need 1 or 2 more kills to really clean this up. They should be able to get that. And rough times for Fnatic, going to be losing this first defense. Yeah, and I think it's a little too late to even try to reinforce it. They should not. They're not going to. They actually just start to try to take the top of shuttle here, but also some really aggressive offense. Short4 already coming in, contesting the top of shuttle. He has Dragon Blade up too, so he can just continue piling on the pressure right now. Good deflect coming up. He's going to go back for a little bit, but right now, this is a golden opportunity for C9. They're going to be able to use Transcendence Dragon Blade at the same time if they want. They do have to worry about Earthshatter, but if they can use their slight ult advantage here to their advantage, it would be absolutely devastating and might set a time that Fnatic can't beat. Alright, so fight is now getting underway. Primal Rage has been used here by Coolmat. Sheer4 right now waiting. It does pull out the Dragon Blade, goes to the top, looking for his opportunity, ends up getting booped back, does not have a dash reset. Not going to get anything really off this Dragon Blade, so not quite what he's looking for. Defensive Fnatic definitely holding strong thus far. And not a bad approach either, really. The deal with all that is Stoop finishes things off here with the Earthshatter, sets up for 3 kills, and Fnatic gonna hold.
That was actually beautifully played by Fnatic. Although the speed boost into Mega Room didn't work out as no one was there, they baited out both ults coming out of Cloud9. Both Sheer4 and Adam used both of theirs, didn't do anything, and then after that, Fnatic was able to engage and take a clean team fight, which is huge for them because Sheer4 made a big play to open up the second checkpoint by taking the top of plane, and Fnatic really needed that to be able to have control here in the second point. Yeah, it's so much different pushing into an established defense here. You look at these heroes already holding the top of the shuttle. It's pretty much everyone except Reaper's going to be hiding in a corner looking for a late pickoff. Does not get in there in time. He's going to go from the back as Buds. Death Blossom out.
Buds picks up 2 there, effectively 3 with IDDQD support. And IDDQD right now sitting pretty on top of the shuttle, just saying, I'm just going to shoot my Peacemaker down, why not? And going to be another full wipe here from Fnatic, and man, but you'd think it's just simple. It's just like, oh, you know, the Reaper's in the corner. I feel like Buds does that more than any other Reaper in the game right now. Being a sneaky Reaper is a good time right now. You can get a lot of kills, especially
with that ultimate. But Cloud9 played that about as well as they could have. They took the deaths without using any ult. They have ult advantage now. They have to win this team fight.
Reaver comes in, takes out Custa right away. It was good Deadeye. IDDQD, though, counters right back, takes out Cheer 4. C9 going to be down with their main damage player. So this is really a lot up to Reaver here. The pick up the slack does take out Bud, so good start there. Needs to do a little more. Cool Matt coming in here from the back, and oh no, you always never want to see that. Winston leaps in on you. It's always bad news bears. He's going to get knocked around and shot out by IDDQD. And Matt, his mobility and decision-making on Winston is really good, which is interesting because when you think Cool Matt, you think incredible hit scan player. And yet, right now he's playing tank and really making it work.
He's going to take the top of the shuttle. They're going to re-establish up here. Everyone gets up here given enough time, but it is going to be Devitt trying to punch everyone off. He thinks better of it and just kind of disengages. Now he's going to re-engage again, just dancing up and down. Not able to completely take top of the shuttle, but causes enough chaos that everyone's all over the place now.
Earthshadow comes in from Reinhardt at the very end. Here comes Sheer 4 now. Dragonblade at the ready. Moves to the back line. Just slicing and dicing Stoop from behind. Stoop has to charge out. And IDDQD with the save. Takes out both Sheer 4 and Adam. His Deadeye is true. Grego now running away. Has to take cover. Devitt gonna fall. And this is kind of bad for Grego. He's like, please forget that I'm here.
A little action movie from IDDQD as he queued up the Deadeye from the top of the shuttle, decided to jump down and shoot it off midair just for style points, I think. They're going to reestablish up here, and what do they need to break this Slasher?
I mean, it's really difficult for them right now. I mean, you saw Devitt jump in, even with ult, and wasn't able to knock anyone off because Custa's up there. And as soon as he's discorded, he can't really do anything. So if he goes alone, it's not going to do it. Devitt and Kai have to pretty much go together.
Alright, so we do see Fnatic drop down once more. They take out Reaver really early in this, so a lot is going to be on Sheer 4 to turn this around. Does take out Stoop. Bud's on the Atom, so Sheer 4 looking to the back line, not going to do much. Gets shot in the back by Buds. Buds finishes out the triple kill, in fact. So again, tough times here for C9. They started out this game really, really strong, but the hanger phase has been their bane, which, by the way, is not how this has gone down a lot recently, where you've had really good hanger defenses before the hanger, and then the hanger defense is just the absolute travesty for most teams.
Yeah. I think, you know, what Fnatic has done really well just throughout the evening is protect Custa in a lot of situations. He got knocked down there and was trying to defend himself. They sent two after him. He did die eventually, but Buds was able to clean it up because he was just really concerned of where Custa was, able to come in and clean him up. IDDQD's been playing bodyguard tonight as well.
Buds jumping in over the top, takes out two, including Reaver and Sheer 4, so the damage part of C9 is completely dead. They're not going to be able to recover from that, and one thing that's really worth noting meta change-wise is that, of course, the last meta always had Mercies. When you get taken out by a big Reaper flank like that, there is no second life. There's no, okay, we'll just res, that's it, your push is over.
Yeah, it's much harder right now, and that's why the timing of Sound Barrier or Transcendence is so important right now in Overwatch. Either you use it to try to win the team fight, or you have to know to save them to be able to engage the next team fight.
Stoop right now, the flanking, dropping down Earthshatter, the style points from that Reinhardt. 2 kills coming in as a result, make it 3. And Fnatic in phenomenal shape right now as they hold this out. C9 only has one more good push left in them.
Well, I mean, good might be an exaggeration as they only have the 2 ultimates up, and neither of them are really going to help them try to take this high ground. They've transitioned into a lower ground comp as Devitt has been off that Winston, got nothing done at it earlier, so it's still going to be the shuttle for the defense here. They've got Deadeye, they've got Transcendence. I don't think that's enough to win this next fight.
It's not a great look for the next fight, but they're going to have to do it anyways. Deadeye, though, comes out, does take out Kai's mech immediately. IDDQD out for blood, drops right down, fans the hammer, Sheer 4's back, takes him out. And now again, this is the last chance. Buds, though, quickly eliminating that. Takes out 2. Reaver, really deep for a McCree, will get taken out. Devitt one of the last people alive here on the point. Things going from bad to worse here for C9. And the odds that they get this to the next checkpoint are incredibly slim. They have to back out, but they also have to come in and force overtime, which is going to be rough as they will have to rush in with basically no positioning advantage whatsoever.
Yeah, well, Sheer 4 is going to be able to touch it. That's about the best you can say about this next. They're just going to kind of slowly poke it down. They're going to keep a body near it and around it to try to keep it going. Kai comes in, bowls him off the top of the shuttle.
IDD, QD again, looking for the picks. Does not quite get it. 3 kills here from
Clutching.
C9. They have a chance. They're coming in the clutch. This is choke territory right now for Fnatic if they are not careful. Surefour does go down the Buds. Buds at full HP, about to have Death Blossom. I think he could just shift in and Q, but he might be trying just that.
That's bad for
they get to the point. Oh man, this is kind of tragic here for Fnatic. They had everything they needed for that full hold. Does not happen, and C9 going to stay alive.
They kill Surefour. They have the opportunity. Custom's still alive. Bud's still alive. He has ultimate. It seemed like they're going to be able to try to stop it at the very end there, and I think a little bit of a mistake gives Cloud9 some new life to try to finish out this map.
I think they were waiting for the rest of their team to maybe get there. Their Lucio was trying to charge in, but you're right. They had every chance to maybe stall it out with the ultimate and everything like that, and maybe the team could have reinforced during that, but missed an opportunity there.
D.Va ult coming in right there. C9 pushing their advantage. Transcendence is out. Should be seeing a Dragon Blade here in a moment. Buds gets taken out, so they don't even have to worry about Buds. One of the key defenders is down. Surefour moving in, slicing and dicing. Set up by Debit's Earth Shatter, and C9 now looking in phenomenal shape as they move this forward. Defense here, their best case scenario is just stalling it out for a bit, which is unfortunate because they were in full hold territory.
Can still do it, but Buzz goes down. That's a big kill. Vonethil goes down as 2. Cloud9 has the opportunity. IDQD, Custom just soup on the cart, and they are going to get it.
God.
Oh my goodness.
Just a little bit of a slip up from Fnatic in positioning and probably ult usage on that final fight, and I think it also shows no matter how much of like the synergy between like the Winston and the speed boost and the Reaper, blah blah blah, Genji at any point can kill your whole team. You have an incredible Genji, like a Surefour, or like Shadowburn, for example, that had always a possibility of your entire team dying, no matter pretty much what you do.
Oh man, we got some math lessons going on in chat. That's one thing, for those who are wondering what's going on with that, we don't get a whole lot of feedback from the UI right now in terms of how much time there is remaining in the map, just because of new comp mode stuff. So you have to do math and sort of adjust for overtime and all the rest. But either way, taking a look at the defense right now coming out from the side of C9. They're going to be running Surefour on the defensive Genji, Adam on the Zenyatta, Kai and D.Va, Grego going to be on Lucio, Debit on the defensive Reinhardt, and Reaver on the McCree.
Well, this offense, yeah,
yesterday.
They were running the Symmetra yesterday, Kai was, for sure, and they were mostly dedicated to the server room. It's going to be interesting to see what Reaver wants to do if he does hang out in here. Lately, they've been sending, like, or teams, not necessarily Cloud9, have been sending like 1 or 2 people in the server room, and I think it's generally a mistake, because if you're not going to full defend server room, everyone should be high ground, everyone should be, but doing the hybrid usually just leads to those 2 people in the server room getting picked off. So they're trying to give them at least a different look on the defense here. Offensively, I mean, Buds looks like he's ready to run that Widow again. IDDQD, I guarantee, will not be on that Torb to blow away those expectations. He's on the McCree, rather. Stoop will be playing Reinhardt. Cool Matt on the Roadhog. Buds, yeah, he's going to roll out with this Widowmaker. Vonethil on Lucio, Custa on his Zenyatta.
So I think it's a good call here for Cloud9.
Yeah, C9 holding way back. And Buds, last time we saw him here on the Widowmaker, he did absolutely dirty things here on Gibraltar. On a flanking Widow where no one really expected him to get to flank, so he's going to have to find a way to get in position. Actually, he's switching off. He doesn't like what he sees, and he's going to go to something else.
It was a good call from Cloud9. They ran Genji on defense, they ran D.Va, and they ran Winston all on defense instead of having the Symmetra setup they had before. So Widow's not the right play. But as you know, in competitive Overwatch, you just go right back and switch. So Buds is Reaper right now, and it's going to be hard.
Yeah, a little mind game.
Interesting defensive setup here coming out here from C9. They haven't quite built up the ults they're looking for. The offense is being very methodical about this as well. They don't... Oh no, the hook comes in on the McCree. He will survive, at least for now, but does go down the stoop right after. 2 quick kills coming out here from Fnatic, and their sneakiness right now is paying off. And C9 in a rough shape here. I don't think they have anyone really alive that's going to be able to turn this in their favor. Maybe I'm sure for Dragon Blade there'd be heroics, but he's going to have to come in from behind and deal with just way too many people. I think Surefour's looking at that as sort of saying, maybe not. And just decides to go up to the top. They concede that.
This is actually getting very bad. Debit was staggered. He died late on the point. Now he's going to get the furthest spawn possible. It's going to be a 6-on-5. Fnatic knows this. They're going to try to take control plane and kill everyone as soon as possible.
Well, Bud's piling on right now. Takes out Grego, is in the top, and this is unfortunate here for C9. They're just staggering deaths. Fnatic is doing a good job of keeping them off balance, but they just need to back up, regroup, get everyone in place. And it's always frustrating when this happens to top teams because you can avoid this. You just need to not be so greedy on your defense.
Yeah, unwilling to concede ground until they're killed and forced back and back, and the deaths keep on coming. Buds is piling on. Now, they are getting some ground here, some kills coming in, but it has been mostly Fnatic on this push. Vonethil continues to push the cart all alone. IDDQD is getting kills. They're still going to try to play defense in the hangar here as they reinforce onto the cart. Short4 get the nice entry kill.
Yeah, sure, for trying to give a little bit of new life here to defense. Kai does take out Custas, so C9, they have the seeds of stabilizing here. Drying Blade is still up here for Sure4. Could use it. I think, given that the offense is going back, he's going to save it for now. Is still really looking for this pick on Vonethil. Not going to get it, though.
I mean, Cloud9 was so close to everyone getting overrun at the plane. So they were actually, even though the trades didn't go their way, I think it was 2-on-4 or 2-on-3, you know, the reinforcement time is still better for them, and Cloud9 on a very thin line right now.
All right, Dragon Blade coming out from Sure4, moving to the back line. Getting it stymied a little bit by that Soundbear. In fact, now has big health in his sights instead. Take a look here. Earth Shatter comes in from Debit, knocks down 3, including Bud's. Gonna get charged into the back just for good measure. And Debit right now moving forward, swinging the hammer. Custa's just like, I have nothing I can do in this situation but die.
Now, that was probably the biggest win for Fnatic yet of this defense. While they were extremely off guard during the first team fight, now they finally got a clean one. They're going to be able to control the top of plane now and set up before Fnatic is able to get through. And they have they reset the ult advantage. So I think they might have an opportunity to do just what they got done to them.
Yeah, I like
the idea. It was a good defense by C9.
The idea from the offense is great, though, to go past while the shuttle is already almost there, to just, or while the cart is almost there, to bypass the shuttle, to not really worry about the people set up there, just make them fight on your terms on the ground. I mean, now they can't do it because it's rolling back, but I did like the approach that they tried to, you know, capitalize on all the momentum they had before. As you mentioned, now it's completely stabilized, and they're in the position that Fnatic was in on defense, too. This is really hard to break. This has been the hardest point to break on Gibraltar since Gibraltar began.
All right, well, here comes Sure4 right now on the defensive Dragon Blade, moves to the back, slices out Cool Matt. Looking for a little bit more, gets right to the back line. 3 quick kills from C9. They stuff this Fnatic push right before it can really begin. And look at the payload. The payload was almost to the point, and now it's starting to round the first bend.
That was actually beautiful from Cloud9. Kai knocks 3 people off bridge after they speed boost up high, and then Sure4 uses sword, gets 2 picks up there, and then Fnatic is spread out. Everyone dies there. That was a clean sweep for Cloud9. They're going to be able to still control the ult advantage, or at least make it 50-50 between both teams. And Cloud9, they're looking strong here.
Well, still 5 minutes remain.
This has been a great rebound from Cloud9. Soundbear, though, comes in from Fnatic. Buds has Death Blossom at the ready, looking for anything. Just gotta find Reaver, and not in a good way. Reaver, flashbang headshot, takes him out. 2 kills here from C9, and their defense has just really come alive in the last 2 pushes. IDDQD still alive at 6 HP, takes out Reaver after taking out Sure4. Anything will take him out, including a little bit of a shove from D.Va, so C9 still gonna hang on. No last man heroics from IDDQD, and now this is starting to get worrisome for Fnatic. It was looking really good for them, and they've sort of run the same brick wall that C9 ran into when they were on their offense.
I mean, a setup defense on shuttle is probably the worst thing you ever look at on Gibraltar, because it takes so much resources just to get them out of position here. It looks like they're going to try to just bypass it, maybe? No, here comes the Primal Rage off the shuttle. That'll help.
Yep, Cool Matt right now trying to make space on the top. Buds right now looking for pickups on bomb. Takes out Sure4. Reaver is down. This is now the danger zone for C9. They're down too many key DPS players here. They're not going to be able to turn this back. And I'm not even sure they're really going to be able to stall given where the card is. It's going to be close at any rate, but Fnatic desperately needed that.
Yeah, they did. That is the team fight that they needed. They didn't even have to use his ult, and now they have an opportunity to take the map. Now, Surefour gets a kill on Cool Map, but he dies, and now Debit dies, and that's so good for Fnatic. They're going to be able to push the cart, and Cloud9 is going to have to reset.
Yeah, about a little over 3 minutes. I mean, I think the stage clock is about 20 seconds ahead of the overall map clock right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, things are looking really good for Fnatic right now, and you're right. The overall timer. Yep, they're switching there. Sound Barrier coming in here from C9. They're moving in. Grego gets taken out as Kai takes out Lucio. Both Lucios are down. Reaver and Surefour, though, come right in with the follow through. They're going to stuff this Fnatic push once more. And for Fnatic, I mean, it's not the worst. They didn't exactly blow much in the way of ults there, so they will have Sound Barrier coming up soon. They'll have Transcendence coming up maybe in the fight after next, and they still have a Death Blossom, so Fnatic has plenty of resources coming up here to push this over the top for them.
You have seen a recent trend of more Tracers coming out, even on defense here on Final Four Gibraltar. I think it's a pretty good pick for Surefour.
Well, this goes in over the top. I don't know if that was the best Death Blossom selection. It still works out. Custa takes out Reaver.
Yeah, did force out Transcendence, too.
Still pretty even between the two teams. Stupid about to have an Earth Shower, though. Sound Barrier comes out. This is really the all-in here for Fnatic. They want to get this on this push. They don't want to do this without a Sound Barrier into an defensive Sound Barrier. And no, Kaikai's ult does pick off IDDQD. I think IDDQD thought he was safe. The Pulse Bomb comes in, takes out Stoop. Oh my goodness. C9 comes right back in, and now, going back to what I just said, this is very rough for Fnatic because even though time-wise, they have a little under 2 minutes remaining, they're going to have to do this into a Sound Barrier from Grego, and that's never a good look.
No, they have a little bit of an opportunity here. If they go right now before Grego gets Sound Barrier, they might Transcendence it and try to take the fight and kill everyone.
I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Custa right now sitting here with the rest of his team. The Sound Barrier comes out. He's going to Transcendence to counter it, but they've already gotten 2 kills. It's a Transcendence too late. 3 kills here from C9. Nothing is going to bring those fallen Fnatic players up. And C9 on the verge of taking this. Fnatic had a golden opportunity, but it is quickly slipping out of their fingers.
And that's a small difference of timing that can win you or lose you a match.
It's up to Stoop and Buds. If they can combo it well enough, maybe Matt begins this fight by opening up with a D.Va shot over the top. It looks like he's setting up for that at least, maybe kind of cause some chaos in the backlines. Buds on the flank right now. He's waiting too. They're going to wait on this Earth Shatter. They're going to try to hit the hugest Earth Shatter of their life and then Death Blossom off of it.
All right, so he goes, oh no, Matt gets taken out before he can get back to his mech. He went for the D.Va ult and the Bunny Blaster. Stoop drops the Earth Shatter, gets Earth Shattered in turn by Debit. C9 countering ult for ult right now. Kai looking for the Bunny Blaster kill, has IDDQ in his sights, takes him out with the aid of Reaver. He's going to get his mech right back in, and that's going to be GG. C9 going the hold here on Gibraltar, now up 2-1 over Fnatic. Been a great series thus far.
So scrappy between these two teams. I mean, Gibraltar is just a bloodbath at the shuttle phase. Either you get through it, like on your first push, you ride that momentum, or you see exactly what happened there. You get stalled out, and then if the defense gets set up on the second stage, and it's been a story as old as Gibraltar, then it's just so hard to start cracking that defense. So that is exactly what you said. Cloud9 goes up 2-1.
All right, and what we're going to do here, they're just letting it run out, so we'll actually get to see him play the match.
Surefour did a lot of work there at the end on Tracer, and I think it's actually probably see that more for a lot of teams now that you're not going to have a Widow no longer on each of the bridges. Will probably have more of that. I mean, right now you see these team fights. It's really the support ultimates are super important, and I mean I experienced that because I felt like I probably mismanaged like a few of them through the course of the series that they played in the last 2 days, and it really does matter so much of when you're going to use Sound Barrier and when you're going to use Transcendence. Is it going to be in response to the other ultimates? Usually that would be like Zarya or Genji, but then there's like more situational things, like you have to get perfectly when the Reaper is going to ult on you and try to make sure that everyone doesn't die, or you're going to use them to initiate team fights. And the risk is, if you speed boost in and use Transcendence or use Sound Barrier and you don't get at least 2 to 3 kills, really what you need, then you're behind so much because you use an ult that takes so long to get and that is so important in the current meta for winning these fights.
All right, so Kings Row will be the next map, and okay, I almost had a heart attack there. I saw a member of C9 missing, thought it was Reaver, and thought we were going to be over-talking for another 7 minutes, but it is not Reaver that is missing. This time it's Surefour, and hopefully he has an SSD.
Now, I've been watching you two talk about like how teams are having a lot of trouble holding first point Kings Row and first point Hollywood, where they're just getting run over, and the game will continue on. And a lot of that is because of the current meta that we have. People just speed boost in, and then you have Zen discores and everyone, and people just kind of can't get away, especially on Hollywood and Kings Row. There's only so many places you can speed boost backwards. If you have to go into Arch, what happened to us against Cloud9 is me and 2EZ got split from the rest of the team, and then they were able to have both Surefour and Debit jump on us and be able to negate us, and then the rest of the guys couldn't make things work. When we played on offense, we pushed Cloud9 all the way back into the Clockwork Tower. And then we were able to win the team fight because we were able to control point. And then Cloud9 was stuck in one area, and they came out, they got discorded. And if you try to go into the lobby or the reception area, you're in one thing, and then you have to try to like flank behind the offensive team. So it is really hard for defense to, one, guess what the offense is going to run, and then set up well enough to be able to disengage from these really fast Winston Diva speed boosted Discord team fights that are really chaotic, and it's hard just for defense to get out of that.
Alrighty, so we are going into map number 4, going to be Kings Row. We are ready, waiting for the teams to ready up, and we'll see what comes out here. And for right now, this set is basically developed as I thought going. I did think C9 had a slight advantage, but Fnatic has been very strong as well. I still feel like either team could take this moving forward. Fnatic, I feel like, though, definitely needs to come out with a strong defense starting out here. I don't think they want to put themselves in a situation where they have to beat a 5-minute time by C9.
Okay, who's got the button? Divix has the button. Let's go.
Divix has the button. Well, we're still waiting for the teams to...
All right, the teams haven't...
Actually,
why do we have to...
No, the teams have not readied up yet. We have all the teams in here, but
this is a little more on Fnatic, because defense is so important because of how hard we talk about it is to hold these first points and how hard it is for defense to hold in general in competitive Overwatch, even though I think it's changed a little bit lately. Maybe it's gotten a little bit easier. Maybe they're thinking about what they're going to be doing. Like, I assume Cool Matt will probably be on the defensive Winston still, especially because Surefour is going to try to do as much damage as possible on his Genji. And then what is Bud's going to do? Reaper he has gone really well with Reaper, but maybe he switches into something like Roadhog, even though that's more been Matt's area of expertise. Maybe they want, the Roadhog and the Winston just to counter the Genji, which is, that's what they're mainly worried about, is killing Surefour and making sure he doesn't build ult, which is what you can do incredibly quickly as an offensive Genji here on Kings Row.
All right, so we are just waiting for C9 to ready up. Should be starting here in a moment. Just as a reminder for those who are tuning in, this is the Alienware monthly melee. Every month, some of the top teams in Overwatch fighting it out here for their share of the prize pool. And just as a reminder, the winner of this does get into the grand finals, which means that their team is assured $1,000 at a minimum. The prize pool, $2,000 to the first place team, $1,000 to the second place team. So money is on the line right now for both teams in this match.
Yeah, and they're going to have to face Envious. We'll see if anyone can really give them a run. This Fnatic team earlier in the tournament, earlier tonight actually, took a map off of Envious, which is generally a rarity nowadays. They took Dorado off of them, so they are beatable. They are mortal sometimes, even though they do look, well, just generally unbeatable for the most part.
Alrighty, so still...
And this is really more on Cloud9, actually, because Fnatic is readied up, so I think Cloud9 might be talking it over. Maybe they'll switch it up where Reaver will be Reaper, and that'll put Surefour and McCree. They've done that a few times in this series when Surefour hasn't played the Genji. Or maybe Surefour will be the Reaper, and Reaver will McCree. I think either of those are very possible here.
Alrighty, so still just waiting for C9. Kings Row, it should be interesting to see what comes out here. The thing about Kings Row, of course, just going back to what we were talking about before, we talked a bit about just how hard it is to do first point defense right now. Do you think people are going to get a little bit better at it, or Slasher, as time goes on? I think one of the things we're talking about is the idea that you have to be more aggressive on the defense, where maybe you hold back and then all rush it, sort of have a counter rush in, rather than thinking that the old school way of holding high ground, holding back is actually going to save you. Because right now, sort of the standard hold high ground, poke down defenses have not been anywhere near as effective in this meta.
No, I do think that there needs to be more aggressive. I heard the team talk about it earlier tonight on both Hollywood and Kings Row of towards Statue and on Car on Hollywood. And if you don't take the aggression to the other team and you just let them take control of space near point, it is just so difficult for you to be able to fight that. It's that, or the team really has to make the right decision based on what the offense is doing of where to go next. Either defense has to all go to Statue, or defense has to all go into lobby. And if you don't make the right call, then your team gets overwhelmed.
All right, well, taking a look here at the defense as it rolls out here for the side Fnatic. This is going to be IDD QD on the McCree, Vonathil on Lucio, Stoop on the Reinhardt, Coolmat, 69 on Winston, Buds on what else but the Reaper, and Custom going to round things out here on the Zenyatta.
Offensively, Reaver's toying with our hearts by queuing up onto the Ana, but I can tell you that Kai will very likely be on the Zarya. Grego is going to be on Lucio. Short for the moment at the very least, is on this McCree. Reaver is going to play Reaper. That's never confusing. Debit will be on Reinhardt, and Adam will play the Zenyatta.
And that was what Cloud9 was talking over. And if this is what the lineup is going to be, then yeah, Surefour is not going to be on Genji. They want to run the Reaper McCree instead of the Genji, probably knowing that Coolmat was going to go on Winston. I think it's definitely the right call from Cloud9.
Alrighty, so the offense right now not wasting a whole lot of time. They do dive right onto the point. Reaver on the Stoop. IDD QD, though, on the Reaver. Both teams down a player, which always favors the offense in the situation. And Surefour just hanging out here on the Statue, looking for poke. Has Zenyatta in his sights. Decides not to go for it. Goes for Reaper in the building. Gonna waste a flashbang Wraith for him. Stopping that from happening. And Bud's actually able to pick off the kill, so a little bit nice maneuvers here for Buds. The problem is for Fnatic is that C9 is going to reinforce a lot quicker here, so unless they decisively take out 2 more people, it's unlikely they're going to be able to reinforce. But right now, it's working out for them. They are able to push the offense back, and they are buying themselves time. So that is an excellent recovery right now coming out from Fnatic after what was a pretty shaky start.
It was a really cool rotation because they only had 2 DPSs in Vonathil alive, and Slasher mentioned the importance of speed boost. They speed boosted right through the hotel here, came around on the backside. They weren't expecting both those DPS coming through there. Bud's got a quick kill, IDD QD got a quick kill, evened up those numbers pretty quickly.
Surefour, though, takes out Buds. Buds got a little bit too deep in the hotel, pays the price for it. Rest of the offense right now moves on to the point. Oh my goodness, the Earth Shatter coming down from Stoop is magnificent. 4 people get knocked down, but there's not the follow through for it. Zenyatta Transcendence coming down. Surefour says it's high noon, takes out 3. Lots of ults coming down there. Not the worst from the defense as far as the Earth Shatter goes, but unfortunately just did not work out in their favor.
You want to nitpick, Reaver did not need to use that Death Blossom at the end. They'd won that fight.
Now he can't combo with Kai, which could easily win them the second point here. So I think that is very big that they're not going to have that going to the next fight. So even though the Fnatic was able to stabilize there and get back, Cloud9 did enough damage on that first team fight to get ult advantage, be able to Surefour to build Deadeye, and that's what won them. Even though Buzz played really nice in lobby, and that's what an offensive team has to worry about most, is a flank from lobby, and that gave them enough time at least to win ones for Fnatic.
There's a sound barrier coming out here from the defensive Fnatic. They're going to use this to be a little bit more aggressive into C9 side. Buds drops the Death Blossom, just gets pooped away effortlessly, taken out by Reaver. Absolutely nothing happening there for Buds. Surefour moving his way in right now, does have Deadeye up once more. Flashbang over the top, takes out the Reinhardt. And now he's just moving into the hotel. He is invading this pub, looking for the other McCree. Look at a bit of good peeking coming out right now, and C9 getting everything they want and more. A lot of momentum in their favor, looking to take out IDD QD, and he will go down to Adam. So C9 right now in a great position to take second.
Just super tentative from Fnatic. They had it all set up exactly what they wanted. What they wanted to do was speed boost in Buds around the corner. They've done it several times before. They had it set up, Soundberry came down. But then when Cloud9 came around the corner, it seemed like it scared them off a little bit, and they didn't commit to it as quickly as possible. Buds did still go for it after the fact, but it was too far away, didn't get speed boosted in deep enough, got nothing off of that Death Blossom. Just like a second or two hesitation really cost them, and they ended up burning ults and getting nothing out of it.
All right, well, C9, they're still applying pressure. They're 3.54 meters away from the point. Reaver takes out Coolmat, absolutely cleaning up the remainder that is there. And C9 right now clearly going in for the kill. This is a very fast time in Kings Row. And I gotta say, this is do or die for Fnatic right now. I feel like if Fnatic actually lets them cap this here in the next push and does not hold out for 2 more pushes, it's gonna be so hard for them to actually beat this time.
That actually was a great play from Cloud9 there. They might have gotten too tentative and too aggressive at Fnatic holding the second checkpoint, but they let everyone come back. They baited Fnatic and they won that.
All right, so Fnatic right now moving in. They're in real danger from a Graviton here, though, if they are not careful. Kai is going to be looking for that here in just a moment. Moves right to the back line. Here comes a Graviton. 3 people getting sucked in. The follow-up from Reaver is there. Could not have gone better for C9. A few members from Fnatic are still alive. They just need to die ASAP so they have some chance of a last-ditch fight on the point.
Coolmat tries to stall out for a little bit. Stoop's going to have to hit the Earth Shatter of his life. Maybe Buds can then come help him out and clean it up, but this is getting so close.
Debit right now holding on to an Earth Shatter zone, looking for an opportunity. Stoop does go for the Earth Shatter. Doesn't get as much as he wants. Gonna get charged in the corner by Debit. 3 extra kills from C9, and that is it. That is a time of 4:32. That is lightning fast, and C9 in a very good position to move into the grand finals and get their share of the prize pool. Pressure is on now for Fnatic.
Yeah, I think Slasher and I were talking about the same thing, just from different angles. It looked for me, it looked like they were a little tentative on the defensive push there from Fnatic. But you're right, there was a nice move from Cloud9 to actually pull back on that too, which made it look even worse from Fnatic for not going in instantly. But that was that first bend fight there. So I think a little bit of both on that Cloud9 was able to bait it out, but also it did look like they took a second too long to push into that fight that they wanted to from Fnatic's defense.
I mean, personally, I love to be able to bait in this current meta. I think it's hugely important. I had enough arguments tonight and yesterday about doing this with the team where most of it's like, no, we got to be more aggressive. We got to go right into them. I'm like, no, I really want to bait them because everyone's super aggressive in this meta right now. Everyone wants to go in and kill everything. And if you can make a team do that and waste speed boost or waste an ult and then punish 1 or 2 players, you can win these team fights so cleanly and gain ult advantage a lot. And you know, that's what Cloud9 was able to do twice on offense just there.
And Cloud9, I mean, given that they did that on offense, their defensive goal here is much more simple. I mean, holding for 432 effectively for Fnatic, if they lose 2 team fights, they're going to be hard-pressed to actually win the game, so it's pretty rough. Either way, though, looking at the defense coming out here from the side of C9, it's going to be Sheer 4 on the McCree, Debit on Reinhardt, Adam on the Zenyatta, Kai going to be on Zarya, Grego on the Lucio, and Reaver on the Reaper.
Well, the side of Fnatic pushing in, no surprise here, as IDDQD is on McCree. Vonathan will be running on the Lucio, Custa on Zenyatta, Coolmat, Diva, Buds will play Reaper, Stoop on his Reinhardt.
So offense right now looking for the opportunity, expecting to dive in here in a moment. They go through the hotel, looking towards the backside of the point. IDDQD punishes Reaver, who was in hotel.
And here we go. Cloud9's backed up just like the last time they played Kings Row 2 goes down. Now they're not going to be able to get back to the point at all. Grego split off. Another one. Debit goes down. Grego is going to die, and Fnatic are definitely going to get the point. It's even going to stagger Shirt forward. He's still alive. He's going to go down late, and Adam too.
Yeah, really fast attack coming out here from the side of Fnatic. Nothing else to say about it. Again, it continues a trend where it's just so hard to actually defend these first points. That's why right now I am probably the most impressed in this game when you do have full holds on defense.
It's just that even the best teams right now, and I would say the Envy is above and beyond the best team, and they're able to do this the best, is you really have to have such good team play of disengaging and knowing exactly where to go, and then how to re-engage the fight when you've lost so much space. And it's so hard on this type of map where you can't go anywhere.
Well, time-wise, Fnatic still has plenty of time in their bank. They have 3 minutes remaining here. Defense of C9, though, being very aggressive. Transcendence on the way. Deadeye comes out. They get nothing. That's a great disengage coming out from Fnatic. And now they're going to be able to run right back in. 2 ults wasted here from C9. And Bud's about to have Death Blossom. He's just sitting here in the pub. He's been hanging out.
Did this to us.
All right, here comes Transcendence, and now Fnatic being much more aggro. IDD QD takes out Debit. This has been beautiful positioning here from Fnatic. This is exactly how you want to play this, especially in response to the Russian, but Surefour does get into backline, takes out 2 before going down himself. I don't know if it's enough to significantly slow this down. Reaver trying to do his best, but he has 3 people all over him. He is on an island by himself.
But he's actually delayed the cart long enough that Cloud9 might have an opportunity to challenge this last one. It's just Debit here at the second checkpoint. I don't think that they're going to be able to, but they might go for it just because Reaver was able to delay long enough.
This is risky, though, because if they go in for this point and die, they're going to be in absolutely terrible shape from last. Here comes Budzell, comes in with the Death Blossom, takes out Grego immediately, takes out Kai with the help of IDD QD. 3 kills coming in here. Surefour, I mean, he switched to Mei, but I don't know about this. All his friends are dead. One less people on the point going to get taken out. And Fnatic right now keeping the dream alive. 1:45 remaining. We have ourselves a game. Will Fnatic be able to do this on the final push?
Surefour stays on this Mei, knowing that they just have to delay a little bit. An interesting call there. Cool Matt does have his Diva ult. He's going to try to probably bomb it up over the top. He does have the high ground here. He sees a Reaper blink right above him. It's an interesting dance going on up there. Here comes a huge brawl, though.
Yeah, Brawl is out. Transcendence is out here for the offense. Here comes the Blizzard out from Mei.
Why not?
And sets up Debit the kill up IDD QD, and C9 not doing the worst in this fight. They do have a 1% advantage. Adam moving aggressively, looking for Cool Matt. It's very back and forth right now, which is completely okay for C9, given that they just need to delay for a little bit longer.
Well, only 60 seconds left to finish out this map. They do have everyone up and on this point, but really it comes down to this next engagement. They got to win and win decisively here.
Yeah, Fnatic, they need everything to go their way. They would ideally like to take out 3 people to 0 here if they can. Time-wise, 43 seconds remaining, so C9 still needs to win this fight. They can't just full stall here. It's not enough time for a full stall, barring a just miracle. But Buds right now...
Oh no!
Right in and, oh no! Did he get knocked in? Debit knocks Custa off into the pit. This has been a terrible day for Zenyatta's and Pits. Buds trying to turn this back. It's not all over yet for Fnatic, but losing Zenyatta, who's mid-ult, to a Winston like that is a terrible look. Buds with the Death Blossom takes out 2. But C9 being persistently on the point right now. 10 seconds are left. Fireworks up in the air. And C9, they are going to hold. They will move on to get their rematch versus Envious in the Grand Finals.
That was probably a game-winning knockoff there by Debit. If Zenyatta stays off, really though, gets Transcendence off, is able to kill everyone, there's a good chance we are going to a 5th map there. So, you know, I thought the Mei play was really risky, and it almost cost them, I think, the game there, but they're able to make it work in the end. And Cloud9 moving on. I really thought that Fnatic going in was a little bit of a better team.
Well, Fnatic has looked great. I mean, like they're one of my favorite teams to watch. I think that they're nothing but on the rise here. They're still. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at teams, the rosters like Envy and the rosters like Cloud9. I mean, Fnatic's a relatively new team. I mean, they're full of vets, but they haven't really been playing together all that long. I mean, especially in comparison to those 2 other teams. So I still think they're on the up and up. And yeah, I definitely like Fnatic, but Cloud9 still just pulling it together a little bit stronger, a little more coordinated.
Alrighty, well, this is the Alienware Monthly Melee. That was our lower bracket finals. Coming up next will be the grand finals. Envious with a 1-game advantage at the start out since they are coming from the upper bracket. C9 going to have to win 3 games to take it all. One more good set of Overwatch heading your way. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It has been a blast, and we'll be back in just a few